Welcome back to Dan's Learning Curve. The hood is still up. The 1958 Plymouth is still apart. Oil pan off. Maybe a few of you have seen in the shorts in the community section that I panned the oil pan. Well, mainly because I could, and well, it was rusty, and probably better for it that way. But now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this thing. It's sitting outside. I'd like to get it movable again, so at least put it under cover, and maybe do some other things to it, fix some holes in the floorboard. But I need to figure out why it doesn't have oil pressure. So there's a couple ways I could go with this. I know the oil pump's fine. I know, and one thing I want to add was when I was driving this thing, I noticed lower than normal oil pressure. And I thought, well, why is that? Why is that? Well, I have a theory, and I'll tell you what that theory is in a moment. You are looking at a 1958 Plymouth Suburban with the pan off, rear main off, oil pump off, because I was having oil pressure issues. All right, so there was oil in the oil pan. I thought for sure that the drive on the oil pump got destroyed, so I went that direction and I took it apart. Everything was fine there. So then I started thinking, and I came to the conclusion that I bet that oil filter, can you see that canister right above the torsion bar there? Let me see if I can get a finger in there, right? Oh, it focused on my finger. Right there, focus back on the oil. There it goes. I believe, since I had seafoam in this thing for a little bit, I cleaned out what crud that was in there. Keep in mind, this is under a 20,000 mile engine, okay, after a rebuild. So I think that oil, this is a theory, this is only a theory, that the oil filter got plugged up. There is a bypass inside the block on these polys. It goes in between the oil filter coming out of the oil coming out of the engine to the oil filter, and then the oil filter going back in. The oil gallery going back in. There's a valve, and if the oil filter gets too plugged up, that's supposed to open up. My theory is this block had, who knows how long it had been sitting out in the salvage yard, and I have a feeling that relief valve is never opened on this car, or that's my theory. So the oil filter got plugged, and the oil pump couldn't push any more oil through, and it just finally said, I don't have any pressure. So here's my game plan. I may lose on this totally, but I'm gonna put it back together. I'm gonna put that rear main cap back on, torque it down to I believe it's 80 foot-pounds. I'm gonna put that oil pump back on, torque it down to 30 foot-pounds. I'm gonna put that oil pan back on. I don't remember what the torque is on that, but I'll torque that down. I'm gonna put oil in it. Put the starter back on. And I'm gonna leave the engine in its position, jacked up. You can see I got a 2x4 in between the motor mount there, and I've got blocking underneath the motor mount on this side. And I'm just gonna turn it over. And hopefully with a replacement oil filter right there, hopefully this thing will get new life, new blood, because it wasn't showing you pressure. But you know, the funny thing was, let's get back in focus here. The top end wasn't rattling. So, and I believe this thing does have hydraulic valve lifters. So, I have a feeling it was getting some oil through, just not enough to push oil through the gauge. I'm not sure though. I don't know. So, well, enough talking. Let me get that main cap put back on, torque down. Oil pump put back on, torque down. I'll bring you back. All right, there we have it. Oil pump, rear main cap on, oil pump on. Rear main was torqued to 85 foot-pounds. Oil pump was torqued to 35 foot-pounds. I got the gasket surface all cleaned up for the pan. Sorry, moving a little fast here. So I got the crankshaft tucked up into the engine here. So now I can take the pan and slide it right through here on. Let's get this in frame. So the pan should theoretically slide through. Let's get it up there between the cross member and the engine here, and hopefully it'll slide in pretty easy. I did this. Remember, I did this back when I was 15, so I'm 58 now. So it was a few years ago. All right, I'll bring you back once I get the pan up there. All right, I took the steering linkage off. This, I don't know what you call it. This, I suppose we call it an idler, just to get the tie rod, or the midsection here. This is the tie rod end, so I don't remember what that's called, but to get that lower so I can get the oil pan up there. I'm just doing a dry fit right now. It looks like I can get it up there, but looking out there, I'm not even sure what time it is right now, but it's time to quit. So I'm gonna upload this video for you guys and gal. I know I have a couple gals following me along too. I appreciate that. So hopefully tomorrow I can get this, get the seals, get the gasket put on this oil pan, and I should explain what dry fit is. I wanted to make sure that I could slide that oil pan up there with the gasket on it and stuff without squirming, without pushing the gasket out of the way and things like that. So that's what dry fit is. And there's no gasket on it right now. It's going to sit this way tonight, and hopefully tomorrow I can get back to it. So I hope you all have a good night. If you could just share this with one person you think might like it, and maybe bump my subscriber level. Right now I'm at 543, I believe. So and if you just drop a comment down when you watch and say, hey, where you watching from, where you found me, or whatever, or just I've dropped many of algorithm boost just to boost the comments or something like that. So I appreciate you all watching, and on this journey, my dad's 1958 Plymouth Suburban back on the road, and hopefully we'll have oil pressure this time. All right, catch you all later.